Good afternoon. Hello. I think Dr. Gomez was not able to give the lecture, no? I-compress na lang niya this afternoon. So, you don't have to go into makeup, no? So, you might be having a slightly extended time, no? Para ano na, he will give in one sitting na lang. Because he was not feeling well last Friday. Okay? Now for this afternoon, the main topic is on viral hepatitis and incorporating approach to a patient with liver disease. So, now, for this topic, we will not go into virology of the viruses, okay? I think somehow it was touched ng konti during your micropara, and in your patho, yung pathology, yung hitsura, we do not focus on that part. So, we're on clinical for viral hepatitis. Ang main na kailangan yung aralin actually would be how to interpret the hepatitis markers. Yun yung you need to practice doing it sa tables ninyo. You have a table in your Harrison, make a blank sheet, and you practice. Okay? Kasi that is the main purpose ng chapter. A patient comes to you and presenting with a problem, and you request for certain laboratory or hepatitis markers, and how will you interpret those? Okay? So, of course, I will start with the types and touch on the pathogenesis, later on the manifestations, interpretation, preventive measures, approach to management, and complications. Generally, what do you remember when we talk about yung complications, nasa complications of agad? Especially for hepatitis B. It can contribute to hepatic CA, ano pa? Cirrhosis, ano pa? What else? Cancer, cirrhosis, and chronic hepatitis B. Okay, chronic hepatitis B. And this hepatitis B is also contributory to another hepatitis, as we will discuss later. Now, you know this already. Meron tayong A, you have your B, you have your C, you have your hepatitis B, and E. Now, pathogenesis would include immune responses of the host. So, like yung patients na exposed to hepatitis A, not everyone exposed to hepatitis A would develop hepatitis A. kunwari, I have Hep A, I was with them for several meetings or hours, and probably, kung meron mamahawa, only one, not everyone. Okay? Para lang din flu, na you are exposed to flu, but not everyone exposed to flu would be having flu. Okay? Only those who have a low immune response, yun yung mga nahahawa or they get the illness. Generally, these are not directly cytopathic to your hepatocytes. When we talk about hepatitis B, early in life, it can cause cirrhosis, lalo na kung neonatal hepatitis, okay? And later on, as patients age, you need to monitor these patients, as mentioned earlier, because they can develop cancer and chronicity of the illness. For the hepatitis C, this is a cell-mediated immune response. Your A and E naman are related to CD8 T-cell response. Now, the incubation period varies in several references. No? So, if you read one reference, there will be a little difference. I just took some for hepatitis A, around 50 to 50 days. In some, it will be longer, in some references. 60 to 150 days for B, 2 weeks to 182 days in Hep C. Medyo matagal, no? Matagal din sa D. Could be as early as 1 month to 6 months. And then in E, 24 to 60 days. Ano? What is significant with manifestations? Yung B, C, and D may present also with jaundice. Okay? And surprisingly, some of these would also present with extrahepatic problems like glomerulonephritis with nephrotic syndrome. Others can present with arthritis or palpable purpura. Can you imagine yung purpura? Diba you have your ecchymosis, bago yung ecchymosis, you have your purpura. Purpura ay parang insect bites. Yun yung tusok, pinpoint rashes, but you don't palpate them. Yung rashes of dengue, those are flat, you see them pinpoint. Now when they coalesce, they can form an ecchymosis, no? A coalition of purpuric rashes. Now this one, you have purpuric rashes, pero they are palpable. Okay, so part of the evaluation for a patient presenting with fever, palpable purpuric rashes would be evaluating patients for hepatitis. Ang common kasi sa purpura, remember, these are flat. When you touch on them, flat sila. Kapag na makapal yung rash, you're able to palpate it, it would be, part of the differentials would be, aside from, ano yung purpuric rash muna? Anong problem sa dugo? What's the problem with the blood? What component of the blood? Platelets. Okay? For pulmonary crash, always think of your platelets. There could be thrombocytopenia. Okay? Now we go to the individual classification. As you remember from your other subjects, hepatitis A is a hepatovirus and easily inactivated. Okay? This is easily inactivated by boiling for at least 1 minute. So, or the use of disinfectants like your ordinary chlorine and the use of formaldehyde or UV irradiation or UV exposure. So madali siyang makapag-disinfect using these methods. Ano yung madali? Kunwari, in your offices, the use of chlorine would help, diba? Or if you have, sa hospitals, after a patient is discharged, the room would be, after cleansing with the usual, the room is also exposed to UV. So, para siyang tower, it's UV radiation. Usually, it's about 15 minutes to kill the usual viruses in the room. Okay? Yun ang good news for the hepatitis A. Now, here, if the patient goes into jaundice, remember not all patients with hepatitis A would present with jaundice, no? Others would only present with fever, abdominal discomfort, sometimes vomiting, bloatedness, and incidental finding of elevated liver enzymes. And then that's the only time that you look into the hepatitis markers, no? So na kayo ma-identify na dahilan why the enzymes are elevated. And you might be seeing acute hepatitis A with this type of patients. Now, for those presenting with jaundice, usually when the jaundice is seen, the infectivity of the virus is going down na. Okay? So, hindi na masyadong nakakatakot manghawa. Okay? So, when the jaundice is there already, ano na yan, infectivity starts to go down. Kasi there is this fear among lay people or patients that when there is jaundice, highly infectious pa. Okay? Pero syempre, you still need to advise them regarding possibility of infectivity. Meron pa rin naman, pero it's lower. Unlike during or prior to the onset of jaundice. Yung systemic presentation of fever, myalgia, abdominal discomfort, those are the usual manifestations. The next slide, I will go back. It should not be here. Nilipat ko na to kanina. I don't know bakit nandiyan siya. I will just go back later. Okay. Now, for hepatitis A, these figures are presented in your book. Okay. Now, after fecal shedding, so meron ka na mataas yung, you have a high fecal shedding of your hepatitis A virus during the first 4 weeks, especially. Okay, so makikita mo yan. These are the number of weeks. Okay, so at this time, you see elevation of the liver enzyme during this time prior to the end of the first month. And in some patients, they can present with jaundice. Okay? So yung onset ng jaundice, malapit siya on the 4th week or 4th week after exposure. Okay? Now, your IgM anti-HAV would be expected to be high 4th week onwards until after the 8th week and going down on the 12th week. Okay? Anong antigen yan? Yung IgM. Remember, yung IgM is acute. IgG is for past infection or chronic. Okay? IgG is for past infection or chronic. So, kapag mataas or you have a high IgM anti-HAV, then your patient is having an acute hepatitis A. Okay? Now, when we request for this, of course, we request for the ALP or SGPP, we request for the IgM anti-HAV, and if the patient is not sure when kailan yung exposure, then we also request for the IgM IgG anti-HAV. So you request for both IgM and IgG. Okay? Kung hindi sure kung kailan ng onset. Okay. Now, when do you expect the IgG to go up? After the 8th week, then, ayan, nag-start na siya. Going up. So, kapag bumaba na 10th week onwards, IgM anti-HAV is going down, and IgG anti-HAV is going up. So, it could be a past infection na. Okay? If you are able to catch them at this time. Okay? That's why, let's say, you request these viral parameters somewhere around the 4th week to the 8th week, uulitin mo yun, you need to re-evaluate after the 12th week or 3 months after yung evaluation, kasi you want to see the pattern if the patient is recovering. What do you expect to see? Dapat if initially reactive or positive yung IgM, after 3 months, dapat ang positive nyo na kung nag-recover na yan, IgG. And the IgM would be non-reactive already. Okay? Now, for your hepatitis A, generally, it can be diagnosed within 3 months. Okay? Remember, as I told you earlier, IgG would be telling you that there is a past infection if this is reactive or positive. Now we go to the hepatitis B. The HBs antigen can be detected as early as 1 week after exposure up to 12 weeks after exposure. And it will be detected earlier than the elevation of your ALP and onset of manifestations. Although madalang ako makakita ng, kasi this is not usually requested not unless you are suspecting hepatitis B. Why will you request HBs kung wala pa naman manifestations, di ba? So this is research, virology part yung mga sa research base. So, before elevation of the ALP, nadi-detect na yung HBs antigen. Pero the patient comes to us with manifestations na. Doon pa na naman tayo mag-request. Okay? And the HBs antigen, remember, can remain elevated up to the ecteric phase, and it becomes dapat undetectable 1 to 2 months after jaundice. Generally, if the patient recovers on their own, okay? So we go to this one presented in your book. You have additional markers to request if you are suspecting hepatitis B. So you need to add HBe antigen, lalo na kung acute symptoms. Any guess what would be the purpose of requesting for HBe antigen? Infectivity. Okay, if this is positive or reactive, patient is infectious. Okay, if HBe is reactive or positive, your patient is infectious. Okay, so again, it follows para pareho ng hepatitis A. You have on the 4th week, medyo pataas na yung HBs antigen. Your ALT is also expected to be elevated. Mauuna yung ALT. If there will be onset of jaundice, it can come later on, a few days after elevation of the ALT. Okay? So, the peak of the HBs antigen, as you can see, and pababa siya going on the 6th month. The trend should be going down. We request for titer actually, HBs antigen titer. Kasi may number yun. It has a number. The number should be going down on the 6th month. Let's say, nag-request kayo during the 3rd month or 2nd month. Siyempre mataas. Dapat on the 6th month of the illness, the trend should, of the titer, the number, should be going down. Okay? And meron kang additional. Okay? In some patients, pwedeng non-reactive yung HBs antigen, but you have, kasi your hepatitis B has additional capsule. So, ito yung magdi-detect yung IgM anti-HB4. Okay? So, it doesn't mean na negative or non-reactive HBs antigen, pero may symptoms, you need to check on the IgM anti-HB4. So, together with your ALT, HBe antigen, HBs antigen, you have to request for your IgM anti-HB4. Okay? Now, for this one, kung nag-reactive yan, it would still be considered as an acute hepatitis B. Okay? Now, after beyond the 6th month, you should expect your IgG to be responsive. It would be reactive. Dapat yung IgM ninyo non-reactive na. Okay? And your anti-HBs starts to go up after the 6th month. Okay, so recovered na yan if you see this. There is an antibody, anti-HBs. Your IgG anti-HB4 is already reactive, and you now develop anti-HBe. Yung anti-HBe ninyo, earlier siyang tataas. Okay? It can go up after the 4th month. And you do not detect HBe antigen anymore. So, kung wala na si HBe antigen, anti-HBe should be reactive. It means patient is not infectious anymore. Okay? So, yung onset ng jaundice, if you look at the, if hindi naman ganun katagal. Okay? Hindi siya ganun kahaba. Remember, your HBs antigen can be undetectable within 2 months. Eh, paano kung nakailang HBs antigen na kayo? You have requested after 3 months, reactive pa rin. Another 3 months, reactive pa rin. What would you consider? Pwedeng chronic hepatitis or ano yun? There's another. Hindi lahat ng persistent HBs antigen would be reactivation eh. There's another. Letter C. Carrier state. Okay? So they don't have symptoms, but even how many years na, they are still reactive with the HBs antigen. Now, as mentioned earlier, there's a special envelope of the hepatitis B that can help us determine yun yung form. Okay? Kaya merong anti-HB4, IgG and IgM. Again, going back, I think you have discussed this in your other subjects. This is a blood-borne virus. So, you do not get infected with the usual contact ng ganito, yung face-to-face, no. Kasi some patients will be thinking that, Doc, yung, may hepatitis B po yung kapatid ko. They are living in the same house. Mahahawa po ba ako? Will I get infected? So those are common questions within the household. Remember, this is bloodborne. And another, it can go into carrier state. For acute hepatitis, parameters needed, HBs antigen and anti-HB4 IgM. Okay? For chronicity, persistently reactive HBs antigen and a reactive IgG, anti-HB4. Now, ito yung mga pinapagawa ng mga hepatologists and gastro for further evaluation of some patients to see yung mga may chronicity kung candidate for viral therapy or immune therapy. Okay? Because not everyone would be a good candidate for treatment kahit na may hepatitis B sila. Okay? So, additional would be an HBV DNA marker. Magkano na to? Around 5,000 if I'm not mistaken. Okay? Hindi ko na alam kung magkano siya ngayon. Okay? As I mentioned earlier, your HBE will tell you infectivity, and it parallels the elevation of your HBs antigen. So, after 2 months, pwedeng pababa na rin yan. Ito, persistence beyond 3 months may tell you that this patient may go into a chronic Hep B infection. No? Na-mention ko na to earlier, anti-HBC IgM is the window period. Ito yung period na time na non-reactive na yung HBs ninyo after the 2nd month of exposure. And before the development of your antibody. Okay? So, nandun siya. In the middle of HBs antigen and the antibody development. IgG would tell you past infection or recovery. Minention ko na to, anti-HBe, hindi na nakakahawa. It tells you getting immunity from hepatitis B. Okay? When do you request for Hep B, DNA? This is for patients who are candidates for viral therapy. Now we go to some resources. This is from the Disease Control and Prevention. This is what you can tell your patients. Okay? How do they get infected with Hep B? Of course, yung getting exposed through intercourse with an infected partner and sharing of IV needles. A patient born to a mother with hepatitis B, kaya routine yung HBs antigen screening in pregnant patients. Diba? May lecture na ba kayo doon regarding mga common parameters to monitor during pregnancy? Meron na. Kasama yung HBs. Okay? Okay? For healthcare workers, ito, ingat tayo, contact with blood or open source of an infected person. And ano na to, mga needle sticks, sharp instruments, yung mga nag-surgery dyan, suturing, okay? Sharing of items. Ito, razors, okay? Toothbrush, kasi yung implants, diba? Mayroong micro, ano yun eh, micro abrasions. Dati, wala to eh, noon, way back. Pero sinama siya based on the studies. Okay, you can tell your patient that sharing of food or utensils will not lead to infection to another person. It's not spread by breastfeeding, hugging, kissing, holding hands, coughing, and sneezing. And what do they need to watch out for? Walang alcohol. Kung tikim pa ng alcohol, siguro tama ba yung one shot? Wag na, siguro half shot, tikim lang. That ano siya, Doc, I have a party, o Doc, ganun. Ako I tend to lessen, yung mga matigas ang ulo. Sige, I can allow you half bottle of beer. Not the Red Horse na. Yung Red Horse, tatlong 3 bottles of regular beer na yun. Yung content ng one Red Horse. Intake of certain medications, they should tell their doctor that they have, lalo na yung mga carriers in, ano yun eh, dapat they should inform their medical team that they are HBs antigen positive. So, they take care of the liver of these patients. And dapat target a good BMI. Remember, obesity or kung overweight, Asians na hindi ka pa nga obese, overweight ka pa lang, may fatty liver ka na. And it's not helping a patient with carrier state or chronic hepatitis B kung obese or overweight ka. Okay? Remember, Asians, wala sa katawan yan, but there's a study, and they've not included, among Asians, ang daming, ang papayatan, Chinese pa, ang daming may fatty liver disease. on CT scan, ha? CT scan. Okay? It's a study of another, kalimutan ko yung organization. Now for hepatitis C, this is also bloodborne, previously known as hepatitis non-A, non-B. So yung mga special test, yung anti-HCV and HCV RNA. Okay? For chronicity, ito yung mga nire-request nila. Aside from that, HCV RNA. Ano yung kailangan yung i-monitor pa? You need to also request for HIV screening for these patients. So that will be an additional workup or screening. Or hepatitis D, meron din silang prodrome. So you have a high Hep B antigen. So, and also requesting for the anti-HPV. Okay? Yung IgM manito, wala itong pangalit natin. For IgM anti-HPV, will tell you acute, and the IgG for carrier state and convalescent period. So basic workups for this would be anti-HPV and HPV RNA. Okay? And usually meron to co-infection with hepatitis B. That's why you also need to request for viral markers for hepatitis B. Okay? Kasi meron siyang co-infection with hepatitis B. Yung hepatitis E, ano yung route ng ano nito? Usually, ano siya? Oral din, fecal oral. Okay? Commonly seen in Asia, India, Africa, Central America. In the data, E is now the most common cause of acute hepatitis worldwide. And diagnostic markers would be anti-HEV, IgM, and IgG. Good news naman, rare naman na may secondary person-to-person spread or contact. Part of the workups would be, syempre kung may jaundice, palagi nyung i-request yung bilirubin. Okay? Probe time, pwede yung request for probe time. Yes, so what will be affected? O coagulation, anong factors yan? Ano? 7 yan? Ano ba to? Extrinsic, intrinsic? Okay, extrinsic. Okay? So, usually, kung may 7, 2, 7, 9, 10. Okay? If you look at the parameters, although, when it comes to diagnostics, both standards, especially for the last part, yung mga Hep C, would be a liver biopsy. Okay? Why would they do a liver biopsy? To help in prognostication and the severity, identifying severity of the illness. And another would be to help regarding response to treatment. other diagnostic workups, ultrasound, okay? So kung acute hepatitis, expected finding would be a diffusely hypoechoic liver with increased echogenicity to the very important areas. Yun ang common description on ultrasound for acute type. For chronic, iba na. There is coarsened echo structure. Okay? Pangit na yung hitsura niya. For cirrhosis, maliit. It's a shrunken liver. And there will be focally abnormal echogenic regions. Okay? So those are the usual ultrasound reports. Now, going back before I proceed with the chronic hepatitis, now only hepatitis B is a DNA type. The others are all of RNA. Okay? Among the five, yung from food, water, or fecal oral, Hep A and Hep E, silang pareho, no? Fecal oral or from food and water. Okay? Now, yung B, C, and D, yung blood and sexual, okay? And even percutaneous perinatal. Chronicity, walang chronic infection sa A and E. So, they would recover. For your chronicity in D, meron possibility of chronicity. And C and D are chronic. Okay? Treatment for A and E, supportive lang. So, patient will recover. Okay? Walang antiviral for A and E. Now, prophylaxis, meron naman for all except C. Walang vaccine na prophylaxis. Okay? Now, for treatment of B, C, and D, mga antivirals and your interferon. Ito medyo I'm just presenting a study from a recommendation of the Asia Pacific for chronic HBe antigen reactive patients and chronic HBe non-reactive patients with a reactive HBV DNA. Okay? Treatment finding either interferon alpha or your nucleoside or nucleotide analogs. Pero medyo expensive din. I don't know how much na. Okay? Kasi dati meron 300 per day. So, I don't know how much. Now, sino yung magbe-benefit? They are given this treatment if, let's say, if gagamit ng oral. Yung nucleoside or nucleotide analogs are oral intake, no? Yung interferon, injectable yan. Okay? Dapat, the baseline ALT would be more than 2 times the upper limit of normal. Let's say the upper limit of normal is 40. If you multiply it by 2, that would be 80, di ba? So it should be more than 80. Remember, different laboratories would have a different cut-off. Sino mga medtech dito? Oh, bakit nga ba? Yes, it will depend on the reagent used. Okay? So, hindi siya fixed number. You have to look at the upper limit. Nakalagay minsan 10 to 40, 10 to 32. So, different laboratories would have different cut-off. So, look at the upper limit of normal and multiply it by 2. So, dapat more than upper limit of the normal before it can be considered as a candidate for treatment. And the baseline HBV DNA is less than 10:9 copies. Okay? So, yun yung requirement. So, if only one is good, then they are still not good candidates for treatment. They may not respond, they may only be, ano tawag mo doon? Parang gumagastos. Okay? Pero you cannot give reassurance that they can zero convert if there is zero conversion after several months. Although I think may new treatment na sabi it may promise zero conversion in chronic Hep B, and hindi pa nabasa yun. It's a new study. Okay? Now, between interferon and oral studies, the interferon would give you a faster seroconversion within a year than the oral medications. Pero previously ang mamahal kasi, you might be spending way back, siguro more than 5 years ago, around 300,000 to 500,000 for 1 year. Siguro, I don't know, nakana ngayon. Okay? And those who cannot afford, usually given oral agents kasi medyo mas lower cost. However, you need to give it on a longer period of 2 to 3 years. And there is a possibility of viral resistance. Okay? Here in Pampanga, hopefully sana magkaroon ng regular hepatologists. Wala regular yan. Dati meron, we have at AUF nung nag-training, hindi na bumalik. Nasa St. Luke's na. Naabutan ko pa siya as gastro and then nag-hem pa siya, hepatologist. Okay? This is the table I was telling you about. You need to study this. So, ano yung ginagawa namin dati? We leave it blank and then pa-practice. But you need to understand also. Kasi if you only memorize yung positive negative, baka when you are presented with a case, and then you are only given, not a table, pero you are only given markers, nakalimutan yun na. Kasi minemorize mo lang yung positive at saka negative in your book. Kasi usually you have a case, and then you have markers. Okay, this is the last part of the lecture. Okay? Ay, teka na, panabaginaw ko yung in-step ko. Yung not all elevated ALPs are hepatitis, ha? Remember, daming hepatitis. Ano na lahat? Meron kang viral. What else? Viral. What else? Ano yun? NASH doubts. Steatohepatitis. Toxic. Ano pa? What else? Yung common. A. Alcoholic hepatitis. What else? Drug-induced liver injury or hepatitis malvini ang tawag doon, no? So, hindi nga viral hepatitis. You have alam. So, okay. Ito yung mga, what you will encounter, okay? For acute injury of the liver, yung ALP ninyo and AST would be very high. Pasok yan ng thousands. Okay, that is an acute injury. Okay? What do you expect for your prone time? It can be prolonged if there is severe impairment of the liver function. Okay? For chronic liver illnesses, hindi ganun kataas yung mga enzymes. Around mga 200, 300. So, and there could also be prolongation of the prone time if there is severe impairment of the liver function. For cholestasis, pwedeng tumaas, okay? However, you need to look into your alkaline phosphatase. Ito yung markedly elevated. Ano ba yung mga cholestasis? Due to due to ayun, anong stone? Gallstone. And what else? Ano yan? Ano yun? Obstruction, no? Of the biliary tree. It can happen an ascaris can go into the biliary tract. Tapos the pain would be intractable and then super masakit, and then when the ascaris worm goes out, okay na naman, and then sisik na naman, masakit na naman. What else? Other biliary problems, no? So baka nag-stenosis yung biliary tree due to other illnesses. Okay? Now, for liver damage, medyo variable, okay? Because it will depend on the cause. Okay, that would be the last part. Okay, and just wait for Dr. Gomez. So you expect, hindi na siya magpapamake-up, no? Ako personally, if you ask me, let's say big ng Baguio. Kasi noon kami, wala kami make-up. Ano yan kami, no